What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the channel. It's Nate. Every day I'm hustling, and my co-host Picksburgh in the house.
What up?
We appreciate you guys checking out the video. Today, we're just talking about how some off-season maneuvers with different teams could make your collecting / flipping of sports cards, basketball cards, with everything going on with the 76ers. You know, are you guys looking at Simmons or Embiid? Are you holding on to those type of cards because you think maybe they'll be building something similar to what the Clippers did, since they have Rivers and over there as head coach? So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. What are your thoughts on some of the different moves that's going on? Anything that's really got your ears perched out, trying to find some different stuff that to buy, that there might be some undervalued cards?
I'm glad to see Doc go to Sixers, number one. The main reason for that is I'm invested in a PSA 10 Joel Embiid Select card, and I did not sell it this past playoffs. I was planning on it when they went into the bubble, and you were like, man, don't sell that. That's a PSA 10. I'm telling you, don't sell that. So I ended up taking it down, and I'm glad I did because, you know what I mean? They've had such an underperforming team for such a long time. And then granted, like, Simmons was injured this past year and everything like that. So you can't control a superstar going down, but they haven't had the best chemistry, Simmons and Embiid together. The floor spacing's been a little bit weird with the team that they've assembled there. So I'm a little bit worried about that for the longevity, but I definitely think Doc Rivers is an upgrade at coach. He's definitely one of the best coaches. But then again, Doc has something to prove because he hasn't really done much in the playoffs either, and he's had superstars, and he's had two variations of big teams in LA with Lob City, with Blake Griffin, CP3, DeAndre Jordan, and now with Kawhi and Paul George. So he has something to prove. So I think everybody's going to have something to prove. Simmons has a lot to prove coming back from an injury, plus a whole bunch of people saying he can't shoot. So I want to, if that dude can get a jumper, he's going to be lethal in the NBA. Yeah. So he has a lot to prove in that regard, in my opinion. Embiid has a lot to prove, because he was not able to carry the team when Simmons went down. And I think Embiid is a lot better player than a lot of people give him credit for. He's stayed reasonably healthy since the beginning of his career. And I know that was one of the major knocks on him, was his longevity of his health as far as his career went, because he started his career being injured and everything like that, which technically didn't Simmons take a redshirt year as well? I don't know if that was due to injury or why, but I'm pretty sure he took a redshirt year as well.
Yeah, so yeah, he was hurt the year he was drafted. So that the way you want it, whenever you get drafted with one of the top picks in the league, and getting any production right off the bat with him. I'm really interested in seeing what they're going to do. There's a lot of rumors going around that maybe Harden might be going up there. A little bit of connection with, I guess it would be the assistant GM with Morey being with the Rockets coming up there. And if D'Antoni went up there, I would have guaranteed that he was going to be the next part coming up there, because they kind of, really had a good kind of chemistry, because Harden was really thriving, with D'Antoni as coach and everything, but he ended up signing as assistant coach with the Nets. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of upside with Simmons. If you had to pick a player, either Simmons or Embiid, which one would you pick to be your build-around piece? Like, if, say, they would trade Simmons or Joel Embiid.
Well, Simmons is younger, so I think that bodes well. I think Simmons has more upside, but I feel like Embiid has a much lower. Embiid's already either the best or second best center in the league, in my opinion. It's pretty much him and the Joker. But yeah, I don't know, man. That would be a tough one. It would just be like, do you believe Simmons is capable of developing a shot? If he's capable of developing a shot, I keep Simmons over Embiid all day. But if you think that he's not going to ever develop a good enough shot, I definitely go with Embiid.
Yeah, that's more or less how I was weighing everything. Can he shoot the three? Can he at least have a good mid-range jumper where he's able to not have to drive to the hoop and basically score off layups and dunks all the time? And if he can become that, then he becomes sort of almost like a LeBron type player, in my opinion. And that's what you need to really make your team overall better. You know what I mean? Be able to kick and drive, and having that jump shot it just opens up everything because you've seen how they played like Rondo in the playoffs. They played off on him and dared him to shoot. That's what teams will do with Simmons. Now you have like whenever people are playing like the pick and roll, say him and Embiid are playing pick and roll, they'll drop and defend Joel basically and let him shoot the jumper because they don't think he can make that shot. So a lot of it's going to be what Rivers can really make Simmons be. If Simmons can be that player and develop that shot and have confidence, then most definitely, like you're saying, I'd pick Simmons. He's younger. He definitely has tons of talent, a lot of athleticism. Also, there's some upside with Embiid too. He's starting to get that outside shot to really help spread the floor, which definitely helps like Simmons's game being able to drive. But if he can become more of a dominant post player, like kind of like if you've watched the games and how Shaq will be like, man, Joel needs to go down the post and just dominate. If you give him the ball down there, he's winning the matchup every time unless he's playing against someone that's another actual big, which is very rare in this NBA. You got Bam and you got a few other guys that maybe will be able to defend decently against him, but other than that, like a lot of teams are going with like a 6'9" forward as their center and playing sort of like the small ball. So you have a lot of different ways you can look at it. Adding a third piece is something they could definitely do. They would probably have to get rid of Tobias Harris and a couple other players to package some type of deal, and especially some picks. But I would say they're definitely in win now mode with the move with Rivers, just kind of their overall structure of the franchise and kind of the struggles they've been having. They say trust the process and everything. Well, I think the process is starting to come towards the end of either having to implode it and trade off one of those players or adding that third piece and really giving that run. And Doc Rivers definitely has his hands full moving forward. You've seen him assemble some of these teams, do some good things, win some championships, but you see what happened with the Clippers and chemistry. So as long as they add somebody and not like a whole new team type of thing and basically doing kind of like the Lakers and Clippers did and trade and move players, I think they can have some success, especially in the East. The Nets are going to be definitely a stronger team. Durant's out there practicing shooting. He looks back to like he was, which is a great sign for the league. And another person that I'm keeping an eye on cards and things like that is the Nets and the 76ers moving forward because of all the promise that could be had right now.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of promise for the Nets next year. I mean, if you look at it, they were a playoff team this year. They were in the bubble and they didn't have Kyrie or KD. You know what I mean? Yeah. So imagine the pieces that carried them to where they were, adding to, I would say, top 10 players in the NBA to that.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I think that's why those guys chose to go to the Nets versus say like New York with the Knicks or anything like that. They really like the core pieces, and you add two superstars to that, and boom, like they could have maybe went to the finals this year if they were healthy and playing. So if they can keep that core clean too, that's definitely a team to look out for as well.
It could very well be kind of like a low-key Clippers situation last year with Kawhi and Paul George, adding two superstars to a team that was already a playoff caliber team.
Right. I mean, it could go either way. It could go positive or it could go kind of like how Kyrie went to Boston and it just kind of didn't work out for whatever reason. He wanted the limelight and be that guy, and he went there with a pretty awesome team. I mean, look, Tatum was young and Brown and they had I believe Hayward as well there, and they kind of just it just didn't happen for them for whatever reason.
Yeah, Kyrie's definitely going to have to keep it in check too, man. And like he's already proven to have a problem playing with somebody who's like a step above him because of the issues he had with LeBron and everything like that. I'm hoping that he's kind of over that now, because KD's got to be option one. Kyrie's got to kind of step back and facilitate for him a little bit. Now, granted, he's still a cold-hearted killer, Kyrie, whenever, he has the ball and everything like that. He can definitely do his thing still, but I think that's really what it's going to come down to. And KD has the passive aggression to him, you know what I mean, where he'll like go on Twitter and like, just throw shade at somebody, you know what I mean? So like, it's going to be interesting to kind of see how those two personalities kind of like, that's the biggest thing. Cause like talent on paper right now, they should be a championship caliber team coming out of the East. Like they really should probably represent the East.
Definitely.
because the Bucks haven't been able to put it together yet. Granted, Giannis was injured this last year and everything like that. On paper, they should be able to come out of the East. I really think it's going to come down to the personalities between Kyrie and KD and how they kind of navigate pressures of a season and being in New York City and everything like that.
Whenever you're in one of those big markets, the pressure is definitely on you day one. They want success, and they'll tell you about it if you're not giving them success.
Hey guys, do us a favor. Before you click off this video today, make sure you go down below and check to see if you're subscribed to Nate. If you're not, make sure you take that red button and you punch it with your mouse till it becomes gray. And then you want to go and click that bell notification so you don't miss any of these show recordings, because we're going to be dropping them all the time. They're going to be epic. You won't want to miss any of them. And then go down to that description and make sure you click the link that says Picksburgh and go over there and subscribe too, because we're doing really cool content on my channel as well, guys. We appreciate each and every one of you. Stay awesome.